Thanks everybody for coming. We'll go ahead and get into it. This is the public meeting. Today is for the core project of our State Highway 42 project, which is the last leg of our ongoing State Highway 42 improvement project. So thanks everybody for joining us. Just going to quickly do some introductions. I think everybody knows me, but if you don't, I'm Megan Sawyer. I'm the village administrator. Also here with me tonight on staff is Madison Deaton. She's our deputy administrator, and Lynn Onesork is our clerk. I believe she is joining us virtually tonight. So that's our village staff team. Also with us is Mike Simon with McMahon Associates. He's our project engineer. Our general contractor on this project is Vinton Construction Company. Steve Navarro is here. He's the project manager with Vinton. And then we also have two representatives from MJ Electric, who is the contractor working with Wisconsin Public Service on the utility burial. That's Tony Gartland here and Jake Miller. All right, so just a quick run through of what tonight's meeting entails. We're going to do a quick project overview, review the project schedule, the formal detour, alternate access routes, review access during construction, special provisions, all the things that you need to know as we move into construction of the core, and information on where you can learn more and get regular construction updates. If you've been to a hybrid public meeting with me before, you've heard this information, but we are holding this meeting as a hybrid meeting tonight to get people here in attendance with us at the press, and then also virtual participants via Zoom. So just quick couple housekeeping things before we get into all the details. We'll take questions at the end. Obviously, if you're here in a room, you can just raise your hand and we'll call on you. If you're on Zoom, please either use the raise your hand feature or message Village of Egg Harbor participant. That is the easiest way for us to see your comments or questions online. I will try to repeat them as much as possible so everybody can hear what questions are being asked. We do ask that you just state your name and address if you have any questions or concerns so that we know where you're located. If there's any specific property questions, you can direct those to either myself or Mike or Steve if needed at the end of the meeting, or on a different day. We're happy to get your questions answered. So we'll keep those specific property questions to direct conversations with us. You can also submit questions after tonight if you think of something after you leave to my email address. It's there on the screen. This presentation will be available on our website likely tomorrow. So don't worry about capturing all this information. My website or my email isn't hard to find on the website either. We'll also have the meeting recording on the village website as well, if not tomorrow or early next week. Okay, a quick project overview. Our project is happening in a couple of pieces. First piece started back in January. That was the State Highway 42, what we refer to as the TAP project. We call it that because there is transportation alternative project funding involved with that piece of the project. We received $1.38, I believe it is, on that $1 million through that grant program. Those project limits are from South Trail to Harvard School on the south end of town, and then picking back up on the north end of town from County Highway E to Church Street. So again, work has begun on those sections, as I'm sure many of you are aware. And the project scope is a little bit different than the core project. It's there for everybody's review. Moving into the core project that is about to begin. Those project limits are in the middle of those two pieces I just reviewed. So this one will run from Harbor School on the south end of town up to County Highway E on the north end of town. This project, there's been a little bit of work in the core, road construction wise with the removal of our street lights, and then the utility burial has been happening in that project section as well since January. But the remaining work on that project is about to begin on Monday. They will get into it. It has an interim completion date of June 28th, with the detour being in effect until June 28th, with it coming down on weekends after Memorial Day. And there is grants funding associated with this project section as well. There's actually two grants associated. The first being the congestion mitigation and air quality grant piece, which is a $1.74 million grant, and then the carbon reduction program grant funding, which is associated with the street lighting, and that is just around just over $550,000. So it's covered on the screen there, but that's it. So the core cross section is here up on the screen, so it's a little bit different than the TAP sections. We have the travel lanes, which include bike accommodations, and then we have the parking lanes on either side. as well as a 5-foot sidewalk, and then the terrace with a brick paver trim. So you can see kind of an outlook of what that will look like. There is a video as well available on the website that takes you through kind of what the downtown looks like now and what it's projected to look like. So you can refer to that as well. Okay, project schedule. There it is. Can y'all see it? Just kidding. I have people for you, don't worry. Okay, so again, we are starting on Monday. And I have it kind of broken down by month here, so you can see what is happening when, and as well as kind of where the project sections are. So we're gonna start here in March. So we'll be starting with installation of traffic control and erosion control early next week. Then removals and clearing and grubbing, and then we're gonna start storm sewer installation on County Highway E. That will run from the intersection of State Highway 42 to Church Street, and then they'll be doing some repairs on the existing stormwater infrastructure that exists within the core. So they'll start that on 42 as well. Moving into April, the work is going to be concentrated from County E to White Cliff Road, and it's going to be on the east side of the road, which is the road that's our side of the road that's already been disturbed on that side of town because of the utility burial. So the work will kind of start there as it's already been disturbed. Grading and restoration will occur on County E. Excavation and installation of CU soil material, which is a special material we're using for our street trees. Retaining walls, curb and gutter, street lights, sidewalks, and driveways will all begin in April. Moving into May, we have work on the west side of 42 from E to Harbor School Road, so that is the opposite side of what I just discussed. And then the east side of 42 from White Cliff Road to Harbor School. So once we're in May, there's a lot more work happening on both sides of the road. Grading begins, and then again, the excavation, installation of that special seed soil for the trees, retaining walls, curb and gutter, street lights, sidewalks, and driveways. That brings us to June. We have the continued installation of sidewalks and driveways, some manhole adjustments, asphalt paving and pavement marking, and then final restoration. Okay, so if you've been following this project with us now, before we started construction and throughout construction, you may know that concurrently with our improvement projects, the DOT also has some paving projects occurring. Those will start in April. That's happening in 2 phases. The first being from the junction split at the 5742 split down in Sturgeon Bay, running up to Rainbow Ridge. And then the second phase is from Rainbow Ridge, which is right on the top of the Egg Harbor Hill by the winery there, up to Bluff Lane in Gibraltar. So those will be happening concurrently. They are separate projects from the village's projects, although work will obviously be coordinated. The street paving will all happen in one piece, we hope. This work is going to start in April and run through June. The Wisconsin DOT has scheduled a public meeting for their project, which is Tuesday, March 19th at 1:30. This is with their contractor specifically, that is at the Sebastopol Town Hall. And then they have a website specifically dedicated to their project as well. So if you have any questions on that piece, it's best to refer to the DOT's website and attend that public meeting coming up there. Utility burial, as I mentioned, that began back in January of this year, and it is continuing. Again, those limits include the limits of the core, which is Harbor School Road on the south end, up to County E on the north end. Also a small section on County E and a small section north of County E. We're also incorporating that utility burial too. Utility burial operations will continue through May, but as the weather has been very cooperative, they are making really good progress. So that has been fantastic. Getting into the official detour that is in place for the village's project will remain. As I mentioned, the DOT has a separate project starting in April. They will be implementing their own detour, so there will be additional detour signage that goes up at the 5742 split, but ours does remain the same. It is imposed for through traffic, which is defined as vehicles that are driving through town and not making a stop anywhere within the village. You're just driving through town, heading up to Fish Creek, Sister Bay, then you should be following a detour, taking the alternate route. Detour started in January and it will run through June 28th. State Highway 42 reopened with no detour on weekends when there's no work being performed that requires a lane closure. from Memorial Day through the end of June. And it may be implemented, in October if needed, but if you notice, in the schedule I just reviewed with you, as of right now, fingers crossed, weather pending, we're not anticipating work to continue in fall, but, we do have our permits with our DOT, if needed, which it would pick back up, if needed, October 21st, which is the Monday after the Fall Fest weekend. So again, we're not anticipating that at this time, but that was the original plan. So just want to make everyone aware of that. Since the detour went into effect, we have implemented a few different signs throughout the village, beyond the village limits, within the detour limits. So we have Egg Harbor open for business, open and accessible signage that has been placed along State Highway 42 within the limits of the detour. We also have the wayfinding signage and the construction bypass signage. So if you are coming into the village and you're not sure which signs to follow, the best thing to do is, if you don't want to go through construction at all, and you're just going through town, follow the construction bypass signs. Those are installed so that you don't have to go through construction at all. It will take you through routes to eliminate having to go through construction. The Egg Harbor business signs will, access to Egg Harbor businesses will help you navigate to businesses easier. So it's kind of a good way to know which signs you should be following when you're coming through. Just as a quick reminder, I touched on this a bit already, the local traffic only means you live, work, or are making a stop within the road closure. And you are able to travel within the road closure if you follow that definition. If you are through traffic, you're not making a stop, or your destination is not within the road closure, you are expected to take the detour or take an alternate route and stay off of the closed road. If you were with us at the public meeting in January, we did have some representatives with the York County Sheriff's Department with us. That meeting recording is available up on our website. So if you want more information on that, you can watch that recording, but this is the information we received from them in terms of what they're looking for when reporting. You were at that meeting, you did hear them say that they prioritize school zones and construction zones. That's why most of you probably noticed more police presence in the village as we have construction going on. Okay, we did work with the Egg Harbor businesses to develop an alternate access map. This has been published on the village website, the Egg Harbor Business Association website. It's been shared on social media via various outlets. A lot of our businesses are sharing it and business partners. So we have access to businesses are provided and maintained as much as possible. There can be time, there will be time where there's delays and inconveniences. So we do ask that if you are traveling within that road closure, if you have a destination within it, you're using caution, and that you are taking alternate routes whenever you can, even if it's a little bit inconvenient for you. It's just fast and easiest. You're probably gonna get to where you're going quicker, taking an alternate route than trying to get there on the highway. So as I mentioned, we have those construction bypass signs up, so there are ways to get around the village without going through the construction zone. Easiest way to do that is to either take County Highway T down to Heritage Lake to Double E. You can also take South Trail to County G, then go down Rock Road through the marina. You'll get on White Cliff Road, come out at Harbor Heights, and then you'll be right back on 42 on the north end, and you can continue on north from 42 there. So we also have Harbor School Road to Heritage Lake Road to County E, Harbor School Road to Church Street to State Highway 42, and then County T to Heritage Lake Road to Harbor School Road, which provides access to Church Street. So you can loop around at the bottom of the Egg Harbor Hill and get on Church Street and head north. We do have obviously the construction happening in the tap sections. That is coming along very nicely. So we do anticipate access to Harbor School Road via State Highway 42 being a lot easier to navigate by Memorial Day. So people will have a much easier time getting more conveniently over to Church Street on the south end of town. Orchard Road and Market Street provide lateral connections to downtown. There's also parking there, and have the public parking at the Birchmere Center that's available as well. While construction is ongoing, as well as on Church Street, the Village View lot off of Church Street. We do have a lot of construction equipment in there, but there are some spaces available for public parking. The press lot here, and then the marina lot as well, which isn't listed on there, but it is an option. Okay, I'm gonna have Mike go through the special provisions.
These are some of the special provisions that are in the contract that directly affect people along the route, just that you know what the contractor is responsible for contractually. Residential driveways, if you have a residential driveway, you have access to it at all times, except for a total of 7 days. That's the goal right now, limit closures of driveways to 7 days, not necessarily consecutive, but 7 days total. And whenever it's closed, you'll have parking at the opposite side of the road available to you. Commercial driveways, if you have more than one driveway, and this would go the same for residential as well. If you have more than one driveway, they can close one and just maintain access to the other one. If you only have one, they would be constructing those driveways one half at a time. Mail delivery and post office coordination. The county will be removing the mailboxes and placing them on your private property. It's starting construction next week. At that time, you'll be picking up your mail at the post office.
Or you should talk to the post office about other accommodations.
Or talk to post office, accommodations, you can't make it there, but that's the way it's set up right now. Other deliveries, for businesses especially, if you've got deliveries coming to your places of business, they will be able to get through, but there will be delays. Just expect delays, you know, because it's just the way it is. If there's another way to your business without going on 42, it'll probably be beneficial, but you will get through if you have to come in on 42. Because there are places that the only access is on 42. Pedestrian access, they have to maintain a sidewalk on one side of the road at all times. That's why Mayor was going over the schedule. It hops from one side to the other. That's so they can maintain sidewalk on the opposite side. So that's the reason for jumping around like they are. Fire address signs, in front of people's homes, those will be moved prior to construction and moved outside the limits of disturbance of construction. And then they'll stay there until the roadway is done, and will be moved back to the right. School bus stops, they've been coordinating with the school buses in the village right now. I think that the pickers have been going as previously were done. Survey monuments, if you have survey monuments on your property and they get disturbed during construction, we will be resetting those after construction. We'll be resetting them where they exist today. We're not, you know, we know the locations where they were, but right where they were. Other private property infrastructure, mainly be sanitary sewer lines, that type of thing. If there's any types of adjustments that are need to be made to those are being done as part of the project. Snow removal is something we haven't had to worry about too much, fortunately. It's in the contract, that the contractor is responsible for maintaining access and snow removal on 42 in the construction zone, for construction. And the village will maintain existing sidewalks as they have done in the past. Garbage collection, recycle collection, those will continue as scheduled, the same locations. The contractor will be working with the people for that. On-street parking, contractor will provide the village 72-hour notice. Once the existing parking lanes on 42 are closed. Right now, there are areas where you can park. There aren't many, but it seems to be many people are using them, but contractor will notify the village and she'll maybe notify the business owners that when the parking lanes will be closed.
Okay.
Okay, so where can you find more information? Best place to look is on the State Highway 42 page of our village website. So it's villageofvancouver.org/HWY 42. You can also, like I said, tonight's meeting presentation will be added to that page. And then we have the public meeting from January also, which has a lot of the same information, but you can watch that one too if you need more information. The Egg Harbor Business Association webpage also has a dedicated detour page, so there's good information on that page. And then you can always stop in, give me a call, send me an email if you need more information. If you don't know my office, it's located across the street at the Paul J. Bertrand Center. I'm there most days, so you'll be able to find me. This is the State Highway 42 logo or icon on our webpage, on our homepage. So it's not hard to find if you go directly to the homepage and scroll to the bottom. There's different boxes with different information. There's one specifically dedicated to the State Highway 42 project. So that is the easiest, fastest way to find it on the website. We do hold monthly progress meetings with our contractors, but I also talk to them weekly and get weekly updates as well. If you have been following the village website, you'll see that there has been a weekly update every week that kind of recaps what happened in the week that we're in, and it gives you a projection of what's to come the following week. So that everybody can stay on top of what's going on. Okay, so we have reached the end of the presentation. So again, if you are joining us virtually, use that raise hand feature. I always see one. And you can also comment, Village of Egg Harbor participant, if you comment or chat with the press pavilion, we're not going to see it, to make sure you're chatting with Village of Egg Harbor, and we'll get you called on. Again, if you have any specific property questions, feel free to stop and talk to me, Mike, Steve, before you leave tonight, or just send me an email, I'll get you in contact with whoever you need to talk to. So is there any questions in the room here quick before I see Lauren Shar has her hand raised online. So Lauren, we'll start with you. Go ahead and unmute. Lauren? Accidental hand raise? Anybody else? You have, Jack? Yeah. Will the Marina gates stay open until the detour is over on White Cliff? Yes, they will. Justin McDonald, who's the fire chief, he was virtually, but he was at our January meeting, and I did verify with him that that would be okay. So we will keep those open. I have also communicated that with our marina manager. As the marina doesn't, get super busy until midsummer, we will keep those open. So people can continue to utilize that to avoid construction altogether. Any other questions?
Road closure between Shipwreck and Main Street Market.
Mm-hmm.
To get into the store, do we have to go around somehow?
Yep, so I would go. You guys are on Elton Lane, so you're going up G, so I would take a right on South Trail and come out back at the highway. And then you can sweep through up to Harbor School. And get to Church Street. Mm-hmm.
So when each of our individual businesses are going to have power interruptions,
Yeah,
how is that going to be facilitated?
sure. So the question was, when the power changeovers start happening, and businesses lose power, how that's gonna be handled. So, do you want to take that one? Okay, Johnny.
So typically, when we go to do a cutover, our line crew will come through and either make direct contact or hang a door knocker on your door with a number that you can call if you have any questions, and then a time when you can expect the outage to happen. And then also we are working with Action Electric. I think he's doing all the cutovers or all the electrician work. So he will also be in contact with you if you are going from overhead to underground. So that, you will be aware of that date and time, but if there's any questions, the number will be on that door hanger. Which they'll bring to every door when they come to talk to you, whether you're there or not. I know it's a little different up here with a lot of residents not being permanent. So I think Mike from Action Electric was actually going to reach out to, everyone prior to, the fight over.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, and I'll get right back to him. The other thing was, as we came to our public meeting back in October, before we had let any contract, or, and started any construction, WPS also did mention that you should have updated contact information on your account with them, because they will also try to call you when there's an interruption as well. So if you don't have that done, that was one thing, that was homework after the October meeting, was to make sure you have your records updated. Question, I can give it back to Tony. Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, have you started doing that already, or do you wait till like all the lines are buried before you do the switch
Good
over?
question. Tony wants to answer.
Yeah, no, so it won't all happen at once, it'll probably be like 1 or 2 a day, cause Mike is doing all the cutovers. So he can, 1 to 2 a day is all that, he can really get to, and some of these are pretty complex, some businesses and stuff, so.
Is he working from the north, south?
We're probably gonna
You
work,
guys
yeah,
are?
we're probably gonna work north of the south, I think I have like a schedule, like an order, that we plan to do the cutovers in, I can get that to Megan, and, you can put it out wherever you want.
So when are you anticipating the electric to start switching to underground?
We're hoping to start next week sometime to start doing some of the cutovers. I know some of the businesses will work a little closer with you guys to find out, when is the best time to do it or which day is the best day. Just to minimize your guys' inconvenience.
And once you turn the power off, how long will it be before you put it back on?
That all depends on the electrician, so if you're converting from overhead to underground. It's hard to answer that question, each individual house is different, if you're already converted on the inside, if he's got all that work done. The cutover is usually fairly quick, we always tell everyone, like 2 to 3 hours. But that's not, if he has to do all the work in the house, it could be longer, that would be a question to ask him if he's your. When he does contact you, just to see how much work that your individual service is going to take.
Yeah, Mike has done inspections, a lot of you maybe talk with him and his team, so he'll have a good feel for that right off the bat. So. Any other questions on mine?
No, that's a statement.
Okay.
Okay, Lauren Shore said she would like to thank us for changing the signage. And as a business owner, our numbers are consistent with 2022, and we are grateful for all the coordination. Thank you so much, Lauren, for your comments. We appreciate that. Any other questions?
Yes, that is okay, that's
So
up here.
as the road work gets started, what's that gonna look like? I mean, do they do like curb and gutter or sidewalk first or last, or, so it'll be one side done before again?
Yeah. Steve, you wanna answer that?
It's a whole conglomeration of things.
You just roll something out and trees appear and blacktop and it's all perfect.
Basically, we have to take what they're apart before we can start putting it back together, so, east side of the road's a little bit than the west side of the road, and we're gonna work methodical coming down from the north to the south. We pull curb and gutter, we pull sidewalks, well, most of it's gone already, but, want to get that side of the road prepared for curb and gutter and sidewalk, it's going back in. We have tree wells, there's all kinds of things we need to do as we come down the road, but you'll see it's gonna transform from, we're gonna saw cut all the asphalt, we're leaving Miller Road in similar to what they did on that project. We'll do all the removals as we come down, we'll put the new stone in, and it'll be passable, similar to what's north of town. And then we'll start putting it back together. We're gonna run the curb and gutter in, and then we'll have to, put the lighting bases in, and then we'll move into the sidewalks, and so.
Just to, while you have the mic. I didn't quite follow that. So you're gonna do the east side first and then you'll do the west side, or?
Yeah, more or less what we're doing with following these guys, so they're up, basically down on the east side, up to White Cliff, right? So that's our first focus, they're gonna continue moving ahead of the schedule, so, which is good for all of us. So we're gonna jump back to, we have to keep pedestrian access, so once we found White Cliff, we're gonna jump back and head. West side of the road. Back heading south. So we would do that and get all the way down to Harvard School, and then we're gonna come back up to White Cliff on the east side. It's all about pedestrian access. For us, it'd be a lot easier to take one side and go, but I think we can catch these guys.
You're following with the way they're going to be.
Yeah, they have to go, so,
Yeah, you know.
so we'll try to minimize everybody's pain and suffering, but, it's just. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure who this question goes to, maybe Mike, but, will the paving, that final paving happening by the DOT's contractor, will that just follow in the, highway from the 4257 split? Will we just be in that line, or will this get paved?
It's all kind of dependent, so we have to have work at a certain point before they can do that, asphalt paving, obviously.
Like curb and gutter and.
Right, correct, exactly. So, it might happen where they get to our project limits and then jump north and then come back. But we are anticipating the DOT project paving to be done in June. So,
Okay, so we're ahead of schedule. How far ahead of schedule?
and having to, well, the utilities are 2.5 weeks ahead. And then, our original project schedule included a lot of temporary sidewalk going into the season, things like that. And we're not anticipating, based on this schedule, weather dependent and everything, any work having to be done besides restoration and things like that. And obviously landscaping, we're gonna have the tree grades in.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the tree grades in, there's not gonna be trees in fall, they're coming in 25 though, so just stay tuned, don't worry, there will be trees, there will be many trees, not until 25. So. Carly, do you have a question?
Well, I feel like I should know this, but.
Yeah.
So when is the curb and gutter going in the tap sections? And you're not doing that? That's
Yeah,
the-
no, that's advanced, yeah, so advanced is also, quite a bit ahead of schedule, which is great, I don't have the exact number of weeks, but.
This morning, the schedule was that, Boner Electric's coming in to put all their electrical stuff behind. Their stuff needs to go in first, that's gonna start next Monday. And they should get the south half done, well, they think they'll have both the north and south half done. After the week, and then Martell's gonna come in the following week and do curb cut. So it's.
Half sections, they're anticipating to be completely done minus the final roadway paving that happens in conjunction with the DOT project by Memorial Day. So that's why you'll be able to, after Memorial Day, it'll be much easier to connect to Church Street. So typically on the south end, it's, easier on the north end, but either way, the tap section will be completed, fingers crossed, weather dependent, all these things, but, that is the schedule we reviewed with them this morning.
So I just want to say, I think people have been really following the detours pretty well, except on the weekends.
Yeah,
I see so many people, especially from the north, they're just going right through. So,
more people around us, slow down.
yeah, but during the week, man, everybody goes around.
Mhm.
Pretty. But yeah, it's crazy on the weekend.
Yeah. Was there
Another
another,
police should be, they can catch a lot of people.
is there another comment? Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more.
Go ahead.
There has not been any thought, since things are ahead of schedule, has there been any thought of on Memorial Day having things passable and then coming back after October 21st? I mean, for those of us in business that are mainly seasonal businesses, to be the 28th of June.
If we do that, the DOT schedule also runs into June. So the DOT is gonna be here paving anyway.
Okay.
So that's why we're trying to get it all done
Yeah.
and not have to come back and fall. So, because the DOT is, we're working in coordination with them, so
Yeah.
it's just kind of how the cards out, yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay, fabulous, again, meeting recording and presentation will be up on the village website either tomorrow or early next week. Thanks everybody for coming and feel free to reach out to our team if you have any additional questions after tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.